Hey Ricka, it's Wheeze, and for the rest of the internet who doesn't know that I'm called Wheeze, Andrew, Uzi, Rayburn, I go by a lot of names, but you know me as Wheeze, so I guess that's what we're sticking with. Tom's hiking or camping or something, so I'm doing this one solo, so let's have some fun. Ricka, I got a question for you. Have you ever had your heart broken by a wrestling company? It sounds crazy, but I'm here to talk to you about Chikara Pro. And pro wrestling in general, and why I love it, and why it's, even in geek circles, a little hard to explain. You see, pro wrestling is one of the only forms of media that effectively blends reality and fiction in a way that's genuinely hard to distinguish, and that's one of its strong suits. Chikara Pro was, and I'm sad to say, was a wrestling organization out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and it was weird. It was a world where there were human-sized ants, an ultramantis, a man with a baseball for a head, many time travelers, one of whom is a marching band leader, and I know that that sounds like the least tough and scary thing, and why would you want that as your wrestling gimmick? But it worked, and it worked well. And it became a world, for me, that I just loved. There's nothing else in the entire world like it. And, as I said, it ended. I actually managed to be at the penultimate Chikara show in Chicago a scant few weeks ago. Beyond the, high-flying action and ridiculous costumes and incredible athleticism, there's this weird underlying story that's been going on that involves time travel and alternate universes and evil corporations and an alternate reality game. All of it was happening outside the ring, and I don't mean like in video necessarily, like at the shows. It was hard to tell what was actually part of it, and so everyone was working really hard to tell what was going to happen. It was all like simmering, and it just had to come to a boil soon. And a man was struck in the ring with a move called the back fist to the future. It sent me into the future, Ricka! But then they had one more show, and at the end of that show, we found out that Chikara was closing. And they did it in a way that was really tough to tell whether or not it was a story or if it was actually happening. Seriously, their final show ended crazy. A paramilitary group known as Condor Security raided the place, kicked everyone out of the building before the final match could finish, so we'll never know how the story ended. So how do you deal with that as a fan? And I want to know from you, Ricka, how do you deal with that as a fan? Because I could use some help. So Ricka, hopefully you can get me an answer to that question. Until then, cheers. Dry toast. To the coast. It's not very attractive, is it? See you next week.